Ja, jetzt fangen wir an. So, neue Kampagne starten. Die erfahrung Schwierigkeitsgrad erstmal leicht. Kampagnenname. Nicht so gut, ne? Das machen wir so. Dann ziehen wir das erste Mal hier nochmal das Tutorial durch. Schneiden das nochmal extra ab. Weiter. So, Trainingszentrum. Ist schon gut, dass angehalten wird. Damit.
Space is the place.
Aber so weit gehen wir nicht. Weiter. Weiter, komm.
Welcome to the launch pad. Let's learn how to rotate the flight camera. Great. You can also zoom the camera in and out. Nice. Go ahead and pick your favorite view for this launch. Your rocket is ready for launch. Every good launch starts with a big green button and lots of fire. Most bad launches do too, actually. Looking good. Ascend to 1,000 meters, and then we'll learn some controls.
Genau. Dann machen wir mal.
Okay, you're a kilometer up. You can still crash, but you'll have more time to correct your course if you start. When flying a rocket or a plane, we have specific terms for moving. Pitch tilts your rocket's nose. Nice pitch. Now pitch up until you're flying straight up. Let's move on. Yaw steers your rocket left and right. Try it now. Now yaw to the left to straighten up. Excellent. Now for the final control. Roll rotates your rocket clockwise and counterclockwise. Try it now.
Oder E.
That's the basics of rocket flight. Feel free to experiment with the controls. We can move on when you're ready.
Okay. Haben wir das auch geschafft? Mal gut. Dann weiter auf den nächsten.
So you want to get to space. A simple rocket requires 4 crucial... A command module allows us to control... For this lesson, we're going to make it great. It doesn't look like much, but it's a promising... How about that one? Rocketry Weekly calls it good enough. How exciting. Notice the part is once again... Now that's beginning to look like... To break free of Kerbin's soupy atmosphere, Now let's add the sustainer engine to the fuel tank. Excellent. Our rocket is looking pretty great. Our one Kerbal rocket... Now all we need to do is put it... Congratulations! You've just built a rocket. Are you sure you have...
Los. Wir wollen da durch.
As you start to build rockets, you'll want to see your designs from other angles. First, let's rotate the camera. Nice! Now let's zoom the camera in and out. Great! Now let's pan the camera up and down. You can also focus your camera at a specific part. If you want to view your rocket from the top, front, or if you ever get lost in the VAB, you can always reset the camera. Nice! Now you can get at those hard-to-reach parts of your rocket.
Komisches Tutorial. Na gut. Wir werden es jetzt einfach mal so akzeptieren.
Your rocket's ready.
Machen
Let's
wir einen
take it
kleinen
out for a
Spritztour.
little
Ja,
walk.
ist gut.
Let's move this rocket to the launch pad. Welcome to the launch
Spritztour ist gut.
pad. Today you'll be flying straight up. Your rocket should do fine without any steering inputs, but if things get out of line somehow, feel free to intervene.
Okay. Na gut, dann sind an die Kerze. Weit so gut. Der startet, der fliegt.
You've cleared the launch tower and your flight is underway. Let's learn about staging. Rockets are constructed in sections called stages. Each stage is designed for a different part of a mission.
Ja gut, da können wir weiter.
On your right, you'll find the staging stack. It displays all of the functions contained in each stage. Every time you select the Go button, you'll activate a new stage, starting from the bottom of the stack. Each stage's fuel supply is shown on a bar next to the stage. Your active stage, Stage 1, still has a little fuel. Your first stage is out of fuel, and all it is doing is slowing you down. Ready? Hit Go to lose that mass.
Oh. Aber, was?
Congratulations! You're nearly to space, and your next set of fuel tanks are empty. Now is a good time to drop them. Activate the next stage. Your capsule will now continue coasting up. All that's left.
Okay, auch geschafft. Sehr gut.
Your capsule has a lot of momentum. If you're curious how high up you are, take a look at your altimeter. You're so high that you can see the curve of the horizon. Rocketry involves a lot of waiting between the cool explosions. Check out your altimeter. You're about to start falling back down. Let's slow down and great job. You're now a master of time.
Das war jetzt ein... Ja gut, okay. Wir nehmen es mal so hin.
What goes up must... If you deploy your parachute too early, it'll be torn off. If you deploy it too late, you'll do some unplanned... Okay, you're low enough to activate the final stage that contains your parachute. Hit Go to pop your chute. Nice work. The parachute will trail your capsule for a bit without fully opening. Once you've slowed down enough, it'll open all the way by itself.
Aha. Komm, mach auf das Ding.
Your parachute is now fully deployed and slowing the capsule to a safe velocity.
Okay, dann haben wir das soweit, oder? Dann können wir uns jetzt mal in den richtigen Fahrzeugbau begeben hier. Ah, nee, hier. Da sind wir noch nicht so weit. Gut, dann los geht's. Jetzt muss er was Spaß.
Missing the ground. If you want to visit space for more than a couple of minutes, you'll need to get to orbit. An object is in orbit when it's moving sideways so quickly that even as gravity causes it to fall, it keeps missing the ground. As long as that object isn't slowed down by anything, it follows the same path every time it goes around the body it's orbiting. Forever. If that object is a Kerbal, it is recommended that they bring lots of snacks. So since your goal is to move horizontally at a high speed, why not launch sideways? On Kerbin, the atmosphere is like a thick soup. You waste a lot of fuel trying to fly through it horizontally. By launching vertically, you cut through the thickest part of the atmosphere as quick as possible. Most orbital rockets begin tilting toward the horizon soon after they leave the launch pad. This maneuver, called a gravity turn, uses the planet's gravity to turn the ship and reduces the amount of fuel needed to achieve a stable orbit. When launching near the equator, your gravity turns should point toward the east, since your vehicle gets a free boost from the planet's rotation. Thanks, planet! Once a vehicle is moving quickly enough that its arc will take it above the atmosphere, it shuts down its engines and coasts to space. Once it nears the top of that arc, the vehicle needs to fire its engines a second time to keep itself from falling back down to the planet. Doing this turns that arc into a nice big circle. Congratulations! You've missed the ground.
Oh, bin auch schon wieder da. Hier noch kurz die Zigaretten drauf machen. Das kann der ja schon mal weitermachen.
When you're making a rocket, it's often easiest to work top to bottom, tailoring each stage to carry the weight of everything above it. To give you a head start, I've already placed an upper stage, perfect for maneuvering in the vacuum of space. It could use another, more powerful stage to push it up to space from Kerbin's surface. Let's turn this vehicle into a multi-stage rocket.
Jo, mach mal.
Anytime we intend to drop an empty stage after using all of its fuel, add that decoupler to the bottom. We need to attach a larger, more powerful lower stage to the bottom of your rocket. Out in the real world, this list would show all of your saved workspaces. Here in the simulator, I'm only showing you the lower stage you need to merge.
Okay. Jetzt.
Now that the lower stage has been merged into your current workspace, you can see it next to the upper stage. Select the lower stage and connect it to the decoupler beneath the upper stage to create it. Perfect! Merging is a very powerful tool. Anytime you want to reuse a particular...
Okay. Naja, warum nicht?
Space rockets sometimes need an extra boost. In a rare case of rocket science, we'll start by attaching 4 radial decouplers that will eject the spent boosters when they're empty. To make sure that these decouplers are evenly spaced and aligned with one another, you'll be using the symmetry tool. Great! Now when you place a part on one side of your rocket, 3 more evenly spaced duplicates will appear around the rocket. Go ahead and add 4 radial decouplers. Perfect! Now you've got... Let's attach those solid fuel boosters.
Machen wir das jetzt einfach mal durch hier.
Since you're still in 4x symmetry mode, simply attach this booster to one of the decouplers. Great job! You've finished your orbital rocket. You can Before you launch a rocket, you need to plan the order of your staging events. Nobody wants to start. The staging order begins at the bottom of the staging stack. You want your boosters and main engine to fire together for maximum thrust. The solid fuel boosters are currently in the second stage. If we don't change anything, the boosters will ignite late and detach themselves at the same time. This would be embarrassing for everybody. Your solid fuel boosters burn very hard and very fast. Now move all 4 radial decouplers from stage 4 to your new stage 2. All done. Your remaining stages are set up so that stage 4 will activate your orbital stage's engine. Stage 5 will detach the orbital stage's fuel tank when it's empty. And stage 6 will deploy...
Soweit hingehauen. Ist schon mal gut.
All right, we're ready to light this candle. In this flight, before we begin, let's talk about the nav ball. The nav ball shows your vehicle at launch. You want all your engines at... You can see your main throttle here. Your fuel levels are visible within the staging stack.
Okay.
Right now, you can see that your main engine and 4 boosters are all topped off and ready to rumble. It's time to go. At the start, all you need to do is fly straight up. I'll check back in with you once those boosters are empty.
Ja.
Good luck.
Das kann nicht so lange dauern.
All right, the solid fuel boosters are empty. Let's drop them. It's time to start your gravity turn. A gravity turn uses the pull of the planet's gravity to help bend your vertical ascent. First, we need to get to 10,000 meters. You're going to yaw towards the east so that the target marker is in the center of the nav ball. Your vessel and nav ball should look like this example. Way to make Kerbin's gravity work for you. You're now on track to establish an orbit. Your current stage's fuel is empty. Let's drop it. Great job. Your rocket is on its way to orbit. As you gain experience, you can make your gravity turns more efficient by starting to tilt your rocket soon after liftoff.
Okay.
Right now, we're on a ballistic trajectory. If no further adjustments... When planning and executing orbital maneuvers, you'll want to switch to map view, where you can see every part of your current... The blue arc passing through your vehicle is its current trajectory, the path your rocket will follow if you don't touch the controls anymore. Our goal is to make that arc into a circular orbit. After you've... Let's break that down a little more. The top of your arc has a helpful tag in map view. It's called "We're paused at just before the apoapsis." We want to go faster in the direction we're already moving, so we need to make sure our rocket... You're all lined up and ready to go. The next step is to go max throttle. It can take time for your arc to fully expand into an orbit. If you look closely at where your trajectory meets the ground, you'll see it moving toward the horizon. Once your trajectory reaches all the way around the planet, you'll see another marker on your orbit. This is the periapsis. Here's the most important thing to remember about setting up an orbit above an atmosphere. Your periapsis must be higher than the atmosphere, or your rocket will start to slow down every time it dips. Keep your eye on your trajectory for now, and I'll tell you if your periapsis is safely out of the atmosphere. Okay, your orbit is fully out of the atmosphere. Cut the throttle.
Haben wir das auch geschafft? Das zweite Tutorial ist durch. Spiel speichern.
Orbits are weird.
Ja gut, das überspringen wir jetzt mal.
An equatorial orbit is good, but if you want to travel beyond Kerbin, you'll need to... Remember how you circularized your orbit by increasing your forward velocity? To raise your orbit, you'll just do more of the same. It's time to burn prograde. Now that we're pointed the right way, we can increase the throttle and watch our orbit expand. Nice! That maneuver raised our orbit on the other side of Kerbin, so we will enter high orbit there. Waiting to reach a specific point can be as eventful as watching the neon stripes on your rover dry. The paint job will be worth it, but isn't it better to rush to the end? Skip ahead to the good stuff. Like I said earlier, the highest point of our orbit is called the apoapsis. The lowest point of our orbit is known as the... Scroll the middle mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Double-click an object. Excellent! You can time warp to any position on your trajectory by selecting a point on your vehicle's current path, and then select... Now you're way up in the sky, so high that if you circularize your orbit now, you'll be in high orbit. Wow, the black starry void looks so small from here.
Gotcha. Na gut.
From command pods to space probe cores, a lot of critical rocket parts use electric charge. You'll want to design your rocket so it can generate and store. Most rocket engines generate electric charge while active, but we'll still need a way to keep our battery... Solar panels convert Kerbal's light into Just kidding. There's a handy button that opens all of them with a single click. Great! The solar panels are now extended. Light tracking solar panels only rotate on one axis, so we may need to reorient our ship to point them fully at the sun. Let's make sure the panels are getting direct sunlight by rolling our ship a little bit. Excellent. The solar panels are soaking up all of those sweet photons and giving our rocket some much-needed EC. You can see the status of any solar panel within the part manager in the electrical parts menu. You can either access the app directly by clicking the app button, or you can right-click a part to directly access it in the part manager. Getting EC is one thing, and storing it is another. Most command pods...
Das war's schon. Na gut.
At some point, the crew will run out of snacks. Did you know a Kerbal is 99.9% more likely to crash when hungry? That's when it's time to head... Remember how we burned prograde to raise our orbit? Now flip retrograde. All right, the rocket is aligned to retrograde. Increase the throttle as we decelerate. Watch what's happening to our periapsis. Once it enters the atmosphere, this rocket is on a path back to the ground. Don't ease off the throttle yet, though. We're going to keep burning until our trajectory intercepts the ground. This should give us a good idea where our capsule will land. That's it. Let's stop our burn. Now that we're on a collision course with Kerbin, we need to turn that collision into something more survivable. This process of crashing without dying is called landing. Great! We're on our way down and our heat shield is exposed. Have you ever...
Gut. Das ist relativ... Ja, ich möchte jetzt eigentlich nur durch das Tutorial, dass man die eigene Rakete bauen kann. Haben wir ja schon gemacht, aber ich fange jetzt mal wieder neu an. Das wird jetzt interessant, weil das habe ich noch nicht so richtig hinbekommen.
Orbital transfers. As you know, the faster you go, the higher your orbit gets. If you get moving fast enough, your orbit may cross the orbit of some other object, like a moon or a planet. The closest celestial body to Kerbin is the Mun. If you're looking for somewhere else to fly a rocket, the Mun is a good choice. The real trick to getting there is timing your departure so that the Mun captures your vehicle at its highest point. If you mistime your departure, you may miss the Mun entirely, which creates a lot of paperwork. Let's assume you've left at the right time and the Mun is there to meet you. As your vessel approaches the Mun, it enters a zone in which the Mun's gravitational influence on your orbit is stronger than Kerbin's. This zone is called the Mun's sphere of influence. You've had to go very quickly to escape Kerbin's gravity.
Weiter. Wir wollen jetzt mal was bauen hier. Aber wir müssen trotzdem hier das mal durchmachen, weil ich möchte unbedingt wissen, oder das Checken mit dem Mond. Das habe ich nämlich noch nicht so ganz mitbekommen.
The mission today is to, drumroll please, intercept and orbit the Mun. To be captured by the Mun's gravity, our vessel must cross into the Mun's sphere of influence, or we're going to create a maneuver plan to figure out when and how long. Great! Now here's a new trick. We can select any object as a target in map view. Right now, our camera is following our vessel as it orbits Kerbin. Let's adjust our camera until we can see the Mun. Then, right-click to target it. We want to place this maneuver plan with two things in mind. First, the Mun is in motion. We can't aim our spacecraft where the Mun is right now. Instead, we have to aim where the Mun will be after our vehicle has coasted all the way from Kerbin. Second, remember how increasing velocity raises the opposite side of our orbit? Since we're placing this maneuver plan where we intend to start our burn, we should place it on the opposite side of Kerbin from where we intend to intercept the Placing a maneuver plan usually involves making a best guess, and then fiddling with the maneuver until you get an intercept. Fortunately, you've got a crack navigator with you today. By my calculations, we'll want to put our maneuver here.
Ja, komm. Ja, was jetzt? Meint ihr den Manöverplan?
Excellent. We've just created a maneuver plan. While we could find out if our departure timing is correct by just picking a direction and maxing the throttle, a maneuver plan tells us in advance how much delta V we'll need, how long we'll need to burn, and in what grab and pull the arrows to plan a burn along that direction. This maneuver is pretty simple. We want to burn prograde and expand our orbit.
Ja, jetzt, nun.
Nice! That maneuver event towards the end of your trajectory is exactly what we're looking for. It tells that if we execute this plan, we'll intercept the Mun.
Okay.
If a maneuver looks right, but we're not getting the intercept we expect, we can change the starting position of the maneuver by grabbing and dragging the middle of the maneuver plan along our orbit. It's very common to refine a maneuver plan by adjusting both the position of the maneuver and the direction of the planned burn. If we don't want to maneuver at all, we can delete the plan, either by right-clicking the gizmo and selecting delete, or through the burn timer. Maneuvers are invaluable when leaving Kerbin. Feel free to come back and practice anytime.
Na gut, soweit so gut, aber habe ich den heute noch nicht erwischt, oder? Also, bin ich bewundert.
We've got a maneuver plan that intercepts the Mun. Now we just need to execute that maneuver and fly to the Mun ourselves. Whenever we have a maneuver plan, a burn timer will appear. The timer shows you how much time is left until we need to execute the maneuver. I've paused the simulation for a moment, so this number won't count down quite yet.
Okay.
The timer also tells us how long we'll need to burn our engines at 100% throttle in order to complete the maneuver. Now let's take a look at the nav ball. A new marker has joined our old prograde and retrograde markers. This is called a maneuver. Now your vehicle is properly oriented. And through the magic of SAS and more math than I'd like to... While we could rely on our reflexes to time warp at the perfect moment, departure burn, here we come. Great! We've exited just before our maneuver burn, and I've paused the simulation once more. After we select Continue, remember to wait until the countdown reaches 0. Then we'll go full throttle until... Okay, get ready to hit the throttle.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Watch the burn timer. We want to stop our burn once it reaches 0.
Wird heißt bisher immer noch verstanden, aber mein Problem wird ja gleich ein anderes sein, aber das werden wir gleich sehen.
Everything's looked great work. You've successfully executed a maneuver, and now we're on our way to the Mun.
Gut. Ist soweit gut, ja?
It's going to take a while to reach the Mun, but don't let the wait fool you. We're now moving faster than any Kerbal has ever. To orbit the Mun, we'll need to burn retrograde once we're inside its SOI, or sphere of influence. This will slow us down enough to keep us from being whipped into interplanet. Let's start by time warping until we're within the Mun's sphere of influence. That's the sphere within which the Mun is the primary gravitational influence on your vehicle. Let's get a little bolder with our time warp this time. Farewell, Kerbin. We'll miss you.
Ja, soweit so gut.
Welcome to the Mun's sphere of influence. Did you notice that we've got a periapsis above the Mun, but no apoapsis? That's because we're going too fast to complete an orbit before sailing past the Mun. Don't worry, we have time to adjust. Our objective is to slow down enough so that both apoapsis and periapsis are within the Mun's sphere of... Remember the rule of orbital opposites. Because we want to lower your apoapsis, we'll need to place our maneuver plan at the periapsis. Let's get started. In order to reduce our apoapsis, we need to slow down by burning backwards, or retrograde. This is a little like deorbiting over Kerbin, but we're going to stop burning before our trajectory meets Mun dust. Maneuver plan set. Next up, let's make sure we're pointed where we need to. If the maneuver is right and we're pointed in the right direction, now we need to time warp to the right position. And we're on our way. Almost there. When the countdown reaches 0, throttle up to start your capture burn.
Ja, spannend, ob das funktioniert so.
Keep burning until the burn timer reaches 0. Shut the engines now. We have an orbit. Fantastic. That was some fancy flying. Looks to me like you're about ready to try this for real.
Ja gut, dann ist es halt so. Hm? Willkommen zurück. Komme ich jetzt zurück? Ah, hier. Jetzt hat. So, dann machen wir einen Start Ding hier, Anfangsbau und wie auch immer. Start, so. Und dann werden wir für heute mal, ich gehe nämlich jetzt wirklich kochen, mein großes Steak holen. Also nicht holen, ich habe es ja schon. In die Pfanne, in einen warmen Ofen legen, hat ein schönes Bett. Und ja, bei euch, wie gesagt, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und hoffentlich, wahrscheinlich bis morgen.